What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first video where I actually explain what's going on for this channel. Okay, so what you see before you is my most recent deconstruction, Don't Think About Elephants, from the film Inception, written by the legendary Zimmer. Now, I know I said in the comments that only if it gets 100 likes will I make a video, but I'm sure it'll get 100 likes, but my channel's just starting and it's gonna take a long time for that to happen, so hopefully this will give you an idea of what goes into one of these deconstructions. I made one on Cornfield Chase, I made one on Thriller, and I made this one. This one is by far the craziest, but it's still the same idea. Lots and lots of layers, lots of instruments, lots of cuts, lots of clips, lots of everything. Basically, well, this part is a multi-track. This is just the original, split up into all its different parts. We've got the original, we've got the percussion, we've got the original without the drums, because that's kind of important. We've got the bass, we've got the electric guitar, we've got the synth, we've got the brass, and we've got the strings. All those are separated. And I listened to one at a time, and then I recreated each track one at a time. So I did the strings first, then I think I did the brass, then the guitar, and this right here is the deconstruction. And it has everything. Look at the percussion. There's so many layers. Right, do this and select all, and then open them all. And this is everything. I'll make it a little bit smaller, but that's how many tracks there are. You wouldn't believe that this much stuff goes into it, but if I just do one track, hear that? That's it. That's just a simple little thing. You'll notice it's, if you got headphones on, you'll notice it's only in the right. And if I do, the left rather, then I do the right, then it's both. This is crazy. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm not going to go through every single track because it'll take 100 months. So what I'm going to do is this is just a percussion track. It is kind of bland without everything. Yeah, there's the key change. It starts the guitar, but it is kind of bland without everything. But trust me. And then if I go to here, now let's do the strings. And for some reason, this whole part right here doesn't have any strings. It's just the percussion, guitar, bass, and pretty much everything else. And then if I go here, which is my favorite part of the whole song. It took me a long time to get that good. The thing about this was that it didn't follow a very specific pattern. It was very all over the place. It did repeat things, but it wasn't in any order. It was just kind of all over the place. It was very strange, so I literally had to go note by note to make sure it was right, because it wasn't like, oh, I got this, now I can just duplicate it. It wasn't like that. I had to do every single note for the whole time, and it took a while. This is all the layers. L and R, C, C, C. LR means left or right, C means center. So, L, C, R, these are all the same. They're just one's panned left, one's in the center, and one's panned right. And it's the same for all of them. This is LR, violin, so it's because I needed that for a specific reason. There's a lot of reasons I did things, but mainly it's just lots and lots of layers. Same with the brass, like layer 1, they're all in the center because I didn't think it sounded right if it was panned left or right. Layer 1, 2, 3, they're labeled differently, but it's the same thing. They're just different layers, like you can see, it's the same stuff. One of my favorite things to make was a glissando. Most of this is MIDI, but you'll see here there's an audio for glissando. This is just pan out all of that. That was a guitar, and the way I did that, the reason it's audio is because what I had to do is I had to hold a note for MIDI, and then I had to add an audio track and record the sound of that track only, and then transpose it, because you can't transpose MIDI. And I did that a couple times. Down here you can see, also at the, what is this in? The synth? Yep. And I did the same thing up here for the string. Or more specifically, the cello. And then, yeah, that was it for that. So, we got the strings. Let's go to the brass. I love the brass. Especially this part right here. Most of this brass is layered with the OT brass. Let me just double click on that, or just go to it and I'll show you. This is the best thing I've ever found. And I'll show you how to get to it. If you go to pluginsforfree.com. Okay, if you go to OT brass, it'll come up right here. 4 layers brass section. This was a lifesaver. It is a bit large, but it saved my life. Like, if it wasn't for this, this would not have been possible, because it is not easy to find a good brass layering VST for free. There is one made specifically by Zimmer called Bram, but it's not cheap, and I think it's subscription based, which is even worse. But this was free, and it works well. Like, let me just, you do it quietly, it's pretty soft and mellow. If you do it loud, you can hear that growl, and that growl is not usually recorded in a VST because it's considered an imperfection. But Hans Zimmer uses them enough that it's my favorite part about brass. Like, if I go low, you can really hear that growl, and it is so satisfying. Alright, so enough about the brass. Let's go to the guitar. And if you heard that, just that little bit, you might assume that I played the real guitar. Now, I can play guitar a little bit, but I'm not very good at it. And I don't have time to learn all that. So I used a VST, and it is difficult to find a VST electric guitar that sounds good and is free. Especially since the guitar has a lot of those human errors or human artifacts to them. Like, if you slide your hand, you get that sound. You don't get that in a VST because it's perfect, clean recordings. This VST has changed that. Now, the way to get to it is if you go to native instruments. It's not going to be in here, but if you go to... Oh, it's native access. Yeah, native instruments. You go to native access. If I search, I might be able to go. Native access. There you go. This is the free app. Get it for Windows, and then you get a whole bunch of free things. And you just install something called Guitar Rig 7. Guitar Layer 1. Oh yeah, see, Guitar Rig 7. The thing is that it doesn't provide its own sound. You have to take a sound from Ableton or from some other VST, something that actually generates sound, and then put it before that. And then it will do it. And then inside here, you've basically got all the controls of an amp for a guitar. See, you got this. Like, it's pretty simple. Then you just pick all these presets at the bottom. These are how it sounds. I'm not going to pick anything because I don't want to ruin it, but... See? Very beautiful. Now, that's not the distortion you heard. See, it's called distort C. I use the same thing, the preset electric guitar in Ableton, which sounds horrible. If I take that off, pretty good, honestly, but as soon as I put that on, that's where the fun comes from. But see, yeah, you put it, I just picked a rock seeker, so it's like a rock guitar. Put the gain all the way up, so it's got all that distortion, and that's pretty much it. I just did that a couple times for different types. And that's pretty much it for the guitar. Now, if I go back to soloing the guitar and do this part here. And we've got this part where it switches and there's no strings. Alright, let's go to, I don't know, something else. Let's go to the bass. What? There's no bass? Thought there was. Yeah, I don't actually have a separate spot for a bass because it's included in the synth, I think. Let's just solo the synth. What's the most synth? The synth was probably the hardest thing to recreate because there's so many different parameters. It's extremely difficult to get it perfect. But just that high string sound would usually have like a bit of a quaver on it, make it like a vibrate, but I didn't put that because I forgot, I guess. This part right here was fun to make. I knew it was going to be the hardest to do, and I had to make sure it was done perfectly because it's just this and a little bit of percussion. So you're going to notice this if it's correct or not. Sounds a little bit like a fly. See, it like pans from right to left and then kind of goes back to the right. The automation is also crazy. Like, look at the brass especially. Like, other than the brass, everything's automated kind of the same. Now, I guess if I go in the strings. Yeah, things are automated. Like, drums are pretty much all the same. Because some of them are audio clips. Actually, none of them. I don't know why I said that. But you can adjust the clip inside the clip, so it's not that bad. But look, the shaker here is the only thing that changes because it kind of goes like and then fades out. So it's like that. So I had to automate it. But the brass is because it's constantly like, oh, and it goes out. Like, it does that all the time, over and over and over. Like, it never stays the same volume. That's why there's so much automation. Oh, you're probably like, oh, play it all together, play it all together. You might have already listened to it if you've seen my previous video, but nothing like seeing it and all the layers and really how it works. Before I do this, because this will be the last thing I do, I was planning on doing, like, more of a deep dive, but it's really difficult to do that. Like, I wanted to kind of go in and show you literally how to do it, like you could kind of go through and copy it on yourself, but I figured that would take a long time, and nobody wants to watch a video that takes 12 hours, because it probably took me more than 12 hours to do this. So, what I think I'm gonna do instead, not right away, I'm gonna have some time to think about it, but I might release the files, the MIDI files, and the audio files, and all the different tracks as a WAV file, so you can literally do whatever you want with it, and then you can make your own. But it's gonna be for personal use only. Like, I'm not gonna allow redistributing or selling the audio, because I'm not planning on selling it, and I don't want people making money off something I created. Now, technically, the song isn't mine, but it's my work that I've done on somebody else's song. Not to mention, I don't think you'd be able to sell it anyway, because if it's based off somebody else's song. So, but I'm gonna have it so you can have it, you can fiddle with it, maybe you can make it better, and then send it back to me, and you'll be like, hey, you didn't think of this, blah 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 blah, because I've only been doing stuff like this for a year or so, so I don't have a whole lot of experience. But anyway, yeah, that's it. So I guess, yeah, we'll give it a listen. Final masterpiece. Enjoy.